And welcome back to Channel KRT, the podcast where dreams go to die. I'm Tyler Green.
I'm Kit Quinn, and I'm too school for cool.
Right, well, sorry, it's then I'm Randy Martin, you say, and well, it's Tuesday, innit? Alright, I'm done with my British jokes.
Huzzah.
For now.
Interestingly enough, we do have some guests across the pond today.
And
you
it
know
is
them.
Tuesday, innit?
It is.
Huzzah! It all connects. Alright, so you know them as the ladies behind the band Negative Øhio. You know them for their work in the rhythm gaming community. Please welcome Gigakoops and Nightmare Lyra.
Woo!
Hi, this is me, Gigakoops, here in the wonderful old across the pond country of Norway.
Nice.
Hello, it is me, your worst Nightmare Lyra. Hello.
Yay!
Yay! How does it feel having sat through this movie?
Better than the movie we were gonna sit through. So, we went a ways to record this episode. So, as people might have seen on Twitter recently, we ranted that we watched a movie that was so bad we physically couldn't finish it. And if you don't follow us on our Discord server, where we also ranted about that piece of shit, I do want to take this opportunity to at least bring up that movie. So, yeah, Gigakoops, if you want to do the honors.
Okay, so we watched a wholesome little film called CJ7. It is a nice little film that is hopefully not horrifying and absolutely batshit.
And by nice little film, she means the most morally bankrupt piece of shit we have ever watched on this podcast.
Good lord.
I can't believe not even a couple months after we did Reanimated, that movie knocked it way down on the top 5 worst movies we've ever talked about list.
I don't know if I can quite go that far, but it's still bad. And I actually wasn't even on the initial recording of the CJ7 episode because my voice was gone. So I blame that movie for making me so sick I couldn't even record.
Yeah, we'll do that to you.
It was a motherfucking Teletubby Kipper.
It really was. It was a Teletubby meets Kipper meets the fucking Yippie creature. Yeah. And the shit this creature goes through in the movie. So we should put a trigger warning here because the content of the movie gets pretty heavy. So if you want to skip this part, feel free to skip over to the 12-minute and 26-second mark. We were specifically promised a happy-go-lucky alien adventure directed by Stephen Chow. Instead, we get a fucking love letter to CGI animal cruelty.
God.
Fucking child abuse.
What if Lilo and Stitch, but Nani and Lilo were completely unlikable, abusive assholes?
That's another thing, too. Don't forget the fucking classism, by the way.
Ugh, man.
This movie felt like, what if Randy Moore directed Lilo and Stitch?
Oh god, it does! God!
Oh, man.
This is just Escape from Tomorrow, but with the story of Lilo and Stitch.
But at least it's not another Ben Stiller comedy.
Ayo.
But I'll tell you what it most definitely wasn't. A Ben Stiller comedy.
I will give CJ7 this. It was not a Ben Stiller comedy. As promised. Or not promised.
One of the things that really pisses me off about CJ7, and trust me, there's a lot to talk about with this piece of shit, but we can't do it rather than just giving it 5 minutes on this podcast. The one thing that really pissed me off is that there's this really excellent fantasy sequence that goes on for 10 minutes where the main kid of the movie is having just so much fun, just playing with CJ7 and getting up to all these shenanigans. And it plays out a lot like Kung Fu Hustle, which Stephen Chow has directed so many better movies than this.
Yeah.
And it turns out, after that, it's just a fucking dream. And we go back to the miserable fucking hellscape of the movie. You literally have CJ7 getting into all these fucking wacky kung fu hijinks. And to get to it, you have to sit through this really dark fucking shit, such as the scene where the dad, also played by Stephen Chow, beats his son in a store because he complains about not getting a toy that he wants. Fuck this movie.
I'm just gonna say it. The dad in CJ7, not to make light, but he feels like he's either at 1 minute he's Mufasa, and then the next minute he's Joan Crawford.
God,
Oh
for
my God,
real.
yeah. The first time we see the dad in the movie, he's bonding with his son and making the best out of their shitty situation. And then we get that fucking scene that completely shits all over it. And the worst part, despite the dad being such an abusive monster, the movie still fucking sympathizes with him and goes the route of, oh, he just wants what's best for his son. Fuck you. Fuck this fucking movie. And I want to say fuck Stephen Chow, but I'm not going to because that's kind of far.
No, because also there's a real depressing backstory to that whole thing, and let's not go too deep into that again, but yeah.
Lyra, we were talking about this on Discord. There are some really interesting behind-the-scenes stories, if you could talk about that real quick.
Yeah, so me and Giga, we have the DVD because we have a master shelf of bad movies because we collect them. And on the DVD, they had a behind-the-scenes feature where he was talking about the making of this, where he, for one, said that he wanted CG7 to be China's equivalent to, what was it?
Mickey Mouse.
Mickey Mouse.
Like one of those characters, like
Pokemon.
Bugs Bunny or whatever.
Kipper.
And as well as Ultraman and Doraemon.
Yes, and later in that interview, he mentioned that the whole getting spanked in the store scene was based on something that actually happened to him as a child. And the thing is that he is not a parent in real life, so he in this movie is trying to set himself into the role of a parent. And he said that he thought that it must have been harder for them to have to punish him than for him to get the punishment. Really depressing.
Yeah, he must have internalized. I mean, it doesn't justify it at all. Like, he still should have known better. But man, that's what it does to you. You internalize it. It's so sad.
Yeah.
It really is. That's another thing, too, is that there was something else you wanted to mention about the classism aspect of this movie, too.
Yes. So the entire thing with this film is he wanted to make a film for those who are impoverished, those who have less money. And the way he does this is by portraying them as literally living in a garbage dump and smashing cockroaches for fun.
I should do.
I just...
Like, I thought it was going to be starting off as showing this dad and son trying to make the best of their situation, and then it just goes into the mean-spirited stuff, and it's like, no, and it never shows their situation getting better, and it's such a bad movie, it's not fun to talk about, like...
I will say my favorite scene in the movie by far, and everybody knows what's coming, is the dad fucking dying.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very funny.
Movie should have ended there.
If they just rolled the credits and then had like a fucking graphic show up and said, Dickie did better in school and was adopted by a loving family, it would have been worth it.
Huzzah.
He was adopted by CG7.
Yes!
Also, the dad died in an unmarked grave. The end.
Let me tell you what pissed me off so hard about the dad's death.
It wasn't slow and painful enough.
Okay,
Yeah.
got that. Here we go.
It's great comedic timing, though, in that scene, I will say.
They should have done it Fire in the Sky style with all the CJ7 aliens torturing him.
Yes! You know what it should have been? You know the fucking E.T. sequel that never got made?
Oh
What?
god, Nocturnal Fears.
Yeah,
What?
Nocturnal Fears, where the Proto-Zoologian aliens, E.T.'s kind, come back to Earth looking for him, but instead they torture the kids.
What?
Oh, man.
Retool the movie to the rest of the CJ7 aliens torturing the dad specifically for 2 hours.
Yeah.
I'd watch the fuck out of it.
Is that a real thing?
It is. Look it up. E.T.
Holy shit.
E.T. Nocturnal Fears.
Why was
I
that
guess
not made? That sounds amazing.
Look, okay, I'm gonna get into the chain of what pissed me off. So here we go. Boom. The dad dies. Boom. You have the super emotional hospital scene where, the kid gets pulled out of class. You see the doctors and nurses all panicking. And then you see the kid look at the 65 and you remember the dad saying, if you get above a 60, I'll leave you alone forever. And you're like, oof, oof. And then you cut to like this really emotional scene that I was like, holy shit, this movie's getting serious. The kid's now going to have to come to terms with being an orphan. And, maybe it'll be a movie where he gets adopted by, this really sweet teacher lady. And then it cuts to the morgue. And I see the bag move, and I see CJ7 come out, and I actually verbally out loud said, no. No, he's fucking not. He's sniffing the dad, he's all sad. I'm like, don't you fucking dare.
It's
After
not
what you just put me through emotionally, don't you fucking dare cheap out and have this little shit creature bring the dad back to life, and he did, ruining all of that.
It's not even earned. Like, the dad never did one fucking thing to help CJ7. He treated him like shit. The movie doesn't even make it clear that CJ7 is actually being treated well by them, so...
Oh, he's not.
Yeah.
We forgot to mention the fucking part where the kid Dickie straight up fucking drowns CJ7 in the toilet.
Oh.
Like fucking waterboarding this poor innocent creature.
And it's like, you name your kid Dickie and you're surprised he turned out to be a dick.
My name's Richard Grayson, but all the kids at the orphanage call me Dick.
Well, children can be cruel.
Yeah.
And you know what? I will say this. The way that scene wraps up with CJ7 basically becoming a turd bazooka. Just fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
literally fucking shooting shit at him.
Oh,
It's
God.
a good metaphor for a movie. It's very distressing to watch,
Agreed.
though.
Yep.
Wait, so this thing shits. This thing shits, which means if it shits, it needs to eat. When have they fed this thing?
He didn't eat an apple at some point, or did he just repair the apple?
No, he ripened an apple.
Oh, yeah.
And then the kid ate it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he resurrected the apple because he is Jesus Christ from space.
It feeds on their pain. That's what it feeds on.
But yeah, it really goes without saying in our mini review of CJ7, just burn the fucking tapes, man.
Fuck that movie. Just
Burn it the fuck down.
Don't even watch.
I'll snag in and take this tape before they burn to just put it in my shelf, but yes.
Huzzah.
Just make sure you dig a hole and you lock it up so no one can find it.
The movie's gonna go stand in the corner and think about what it did.
They're in the corner right next to our bathroom, so...
Huzzah.
Yes. I will say the alien design of CJ7 is very cute. And there is merch of CJ7, by the way.
We're
So we'll
reclaiming
post
him.
that on Twitter because at least that's one thing about the movie we like is that the alien creature is just so fucking cute.
Yes, he's like Skippy.
I still have CJ7 as my avatar in some places online. So.
Yes.
Oh, that's cute.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it's the scene where he sat over the dad's death, but you know.
All right, so to make it up to everybody, I've picked another bad movie that's still a hard watch, but honestly, a real fucking breather after having to watch CJ7. I, of course, am talking about Horrid Henry the movie. So, what is everyone's relationship with this movie, starting with Gigakoops?
I just found it one day, thought, this looks weird, I'll give it a watch. And it changed my life for the worse.
That's it. Review over.
Huzzah. Burn the tapes. I will say that my sole relationship with this movie was a long time ago. Me, Giga, and Lyra just watched this movie, and like I did with fucking CJ7, I repressed a lot of it. And again, that's for the better, quite frankly.
I never saw this movie before. I had seen a couple of episodes of the animated series of the books that this is based on, which what Horrid Henry reminded me of was that Tumblr post where it shows that the British version of Dennis the Menace is way different, and they show like that comic where he's like, I'm bored, so I'm sawing the table in half.
Jingle bells, jingle bells.
Bart! Why are you doing that?
Oh.
Gotta be honest, what very little I've seen of the series, I enjoyed more than this, but also that's not saying much because it feels like this is both too accurate to the series and still just a mess all around.
I will say, the episode we watched right before recording this episode was way better than the movie.
Agreed.
They fling mud at the queen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Then the queen sent him to be decapitated at the end.
Hey,
Yes.
he's an Antifa icon. Good for him.
Holy shit.
It's pretty funny.
It's a genuinely funny ending to that episode. It's like, oh my god, they did a good brick joke.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Welcome to Channel KRT, the podcast where 9/11 jokes are out and Queen jokes are in.
Oh, yeah, wait a minute.
Huzzah.
Oh no, the 9/11 jokes are still in. Don't worry.
So something I found out about this movie, the director is Nick Moore, who directed some other movies that didn't do that well. However, as an editor, he's edited movies like Notting Hill, Empire of the Sun, Love Actually, and a little movie called Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
What?
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
So he has one hell of an editing career among him. So he was also apparently an editor on Ghost World, which I guess kind of explains the very comic-y feel of the movie, but it just really doesn't. It's so hard to explain. It feels a lot like how the director of The Cat in the Hat 2003 was amazing with cinematography and bad with directing.
Pretty much.
I gotta ask this editor. Hi, what happened? What were you on? Who sold it to you? Can you give me their number?
I think he found cocaine.
I will say, looking at Nick Moore's directing credits, he's apparently directed a movie called Pudsey the Dog.
Oh, God.
Just by looking at the poster, this looks exactly like something we would riff on.
I've seen this. I've
Oh
seen
my
this.
God.
It's
Oh,
bad.
dear.
Oh, this
no.
fucking thing. That's the same director.
Oh, no.
Oh my
What
god.
is that? Is England okay?
Oh,
No, have you seen Britain? Of course it's not okay.
Okay, so in the cast for this movie is David Walliams, John Sessions, Olivia Colman. What the fuck?
What? Didn't she have, like, The Favorite around this time? Like, she didn't need to be doing this.
She also had Broadchurch, which, you know, I guess this is punishment for Broadchurch, considering that's pretty much propaganda, so. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
this movie's cast is something to talk about as well, because we have Angelica Houston, Richard E. Grant, and Noel Felding. What the fuck is this cast?
Angelica Houston, we can make Captain EO jokes.
Yes! Finally! Me and Randy
Yes!
are gonna be eating good tonight.
See, I can't buy that Morticia Addams would be in this movie because, say it with me, there's pastels in it.
You have gone too far. You have married Fester. You have destroyed his spirit. You have taken him from us. All that I could forgive. But, Debbie. What? Pastels?
yes.
Morticia Addams? What are you talking about? That's the spider robot lady queen from the cult classic Captain EO. What is her name? Spider lady robot queen, maybe?
Supreme Leader. Her name is the Supreme Leader.
Alright, the Supreme Leader. Great.
Oh, so she's same role here since she's the teacher then.
Apparently, Universal, Disney, Warner Brothers, and Paramount all rejected this movie for US release, so
Oh, wonderful.
they had to go to Phase fucking 4 to release it, so,
Oh boy.
and it bombed hard. So
Oh yeah, that's where I found this. I was looking at Phase 4 films. I saw this. I was like, huh, this looks bad. Let's watch it.
And this also apparently aired on Nickelodeon in 2019, which I guess makes sense given all the slime, but
Yeah, the cartoon apparently also aired at Nicktoons, so...
Oh, okay. That
Interesting.
makes sense.
Oh, so this was a straight to Nicktoons.
This was also apparently the first British children's film to be shot in 3D. Who the fuck
Oh,
wanted to see this
no.
in 3D?
Oh dear
Oh,
Christ.
God.
Hang on, what? When was this again?
2011.
It took Britain that long?
They're a bit behind the times.
We got Jaws 3D in the 80s.
Hugo came out in 2011. There was no excuse for this to look so shitty.
What's really interesting about this is in the opening credits, I saw that this was distributed by the UK Film Council with additional funds from the National Lottery. What the fuck?
If you've gambled between the years of 2009 and 2011, you may have helped finance this film.
Hooray!
Bastards.
Monster.
And that was our promotion for Prop 27, which is totally not just make gambling legal, kids. It's totally going to help local homeless people. California props are never propaganda.
So we open up with Horrid Henry getting to do a heist that is extremely extra, I should say.
When did we start playing Splinter Cell?
So right from the beginning, Horrid Henry makes his own zip line and slides all the way down to Moody Margaret's treehouse, and yeah, that was a very convincing effect, wasn't it?
I have no idea what you're talking about. It was very convincing.
Totally didn't look like someone was literally just messing with their cursor in Photoshop, sliding around a static picture of this kid.
The fact that this guy has edited so many known movies is astonishing me, because this editing in this movie is some of the worst editing I've ever seen in my life.
Apparently, he handed it over to somebody else named Simon Cozens, and boy, I'm sure he gave it a good try.
Well, he was also on coke.
Are you sure this is not the same guy who edited Rebecca Black's Friday?
Oh, God.
No, that's a
Same
pacing.
here.
Oh, same
Yeah,
pace.
no
yeah, I
kidding
see where
about-
the inspo came from.
God, speaking of pacing, though, there is just so much fast motion in this movie.
I couldn't follow the plot. I couldn't follow anything that was going on. I couldn't follow which new characters are... I couldn't follow this movie. In fact, I'm probably gonna have to pull up the plot to make sure I know where we're keeping up.
It feels like they didn't know how to actually fill an interesting plot in a lot of these scenes, so they have to speed it up every single time. It's like, why make the fucking movie then?
I have seen this film 4 times, and I still have no idea what the fuck's going on.
Oh god. I'm so sorry.
So, Henry uses his magnetic yo-yo to steal the chocolate, I guess, donuts from Moody Margaret's secret club, where...
Biscuits.
Yeah.
Because Britain.
Oi.
Oh, it's biscuits in it.
It's fucking cookies.
Cookies! America!
Please welcome our third guest to the show, Fred Durst.
Yeah!
I just have one more question for British people. When you guys watch Sesame Street, is he still Cookie Monster, or do y'all call him the Biscuit Monster?
If I remember correctly, there's a show called The Furchester Hotel, where the Cookie Monster and Elmo help run a hotel, and he actually does have a British cousin called the Biscuit Monster.
Wow.
Well, there we
Yeah.
go.
Wow.
They do a really bad job at making us try to hate Henry because it's his family who messes with his fucking homework, and at worst, he's just a bit bratty. He's no worse than any other kid. Like,
Well,
good God.
I think that he is definitely a bully and seems like a really shitty kid. But yes, the parents are at fault here, obviously.
It's like a cause and
Yeah.
effect sort of thing.
They play favorites. They clearly prefer his younger brother over him.
Yeah.
So no
Well,
wonder he's...
what the fuck did they expect? They literally named him Horrid Henry. It's not a nickname. They literally straight up refer to him as Horrid Henry. No wonder why he's so screwed up.
That's the real weird thing in this movie. Like from the cartoon, it seemed that was only like treated as a nickname. While here, they seem to treat everything as like an actual name, which is very strange.
Yeah, his name is Horrid Henry. His brother's name is fucking Perfect Peter.
May as well have called Henry asshole midshitfuck.
Also, they force this poor kid to sing so many terrible songs throughout the movie. Like, it opens with him rapping.
Are we sure this was not the same crew that edited Friday? Are we absolutely positive on that?
Nuclear take. Friday is good.
Friday slaps.
The 2010s were a weird fucking time.
Yeah.
Also, take a shot every time there's a random fart noise in this movie.
God.
Oh.
Alcohol poisoning.
So we cut to Henry in school, and his teacher basically humiliates him for not having his homework and tries to force him to spell out the word.
Angelica Houston time?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Angelica Houston time, baby.
Also, she's Scottish, because why not?
Look, just shoot your like little light Michael Jackson beams out of your hands and she'll be fine.
Yay!
You just gotta moonwalk.
There's a distressing thing related to this character. Namely that she seemed to be a stereotype of... her last name is Battle Axe.
Oh boy.
Okay.
And she is like a strict Scottish teacher. I think this explains itself.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
As an Irish woman, I gotta say, damn you, Britain.
oh, man.
Same here.
I'm part Irish, I think. I don't know.
I'm mostly Irish, but I'm just, according to Ancestry, just mostly Irish, but just a whole bunch of, like, Northwestern Europe, and then, like, a little bit of, like, Eastern.
Also, they're trying to make it clear that this school is, like, suffering, but nothing about the school seems that bad outside of Henry, so it's like, what the
It's like Woodstock 99 where they blame everything on Fred Durst.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I can't tell if this movie is too cartoony or too subdued, and either way, it really doesn't work. It's
It
like,
is both. It
Yeah.
switches
Yes.
between the two.
We skipped over the introduction of the Purple Hand Gang.
which sounds like the evil version of the Buttercream Gang.
Let's see. Yeah, so I'm sorry. Who's in the Purple Hand Gang again? I know Brainy Bryan is one of them.
Forgettable Kid, Forgettable Kid, Forgettable Kid, and Forgettable Kid.
The one that cries all the time, which, like, you know, mood, but, like...
Then we have the one that they say is fat, but he's clearly skinny.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
They were fat phobic towards this frighteningly skinny kid.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
So they have this weird plot where apparently this school is going to get shut down because teachers keep quitting. It's so hard to follow. It's like, oh, Horrid Henry drives all these teachers away and gets them fired, and they barely show that outside of Miss Battleaxe, and Miss Lovely gets punished for simply not punishing Henry hard enough. Like, gee, almost like she'd rather be nice to a kid.
Just expel the damn kid. Jesus Christ.
As we'll get to it later, Miss Lovely really gets treated like shit throughout the whole movie.
God.
And she just really deserved better, too. And it doesn't help that she's portrayed by a person of color in a predominantly white movie.
Oh, it was definitely racially motivated. You can't tell me it wasn't.
Europe has some catching up to do.
One thing I will say about the homework scene is that one of the kids in the Purple Hand Gang, Brainy Bryan, I know this because the Wikipedia says Brainy Bryan, he's the only one who's properly identified here, helps him forge a note from his mom saying the cat ate his homework, which is partially true. I mean, again, his parents aren't fucking doing him any favors by accidentally destroying his homework. Because even if he told Mrs. Battleaxe, she still wouldn't fucking believe him.
Yeah, fucking hell.
So when Miss Battleaxe is going over the spelling of homework, she tells Henry to spell it, and he's like,
W-E-R-K.
and she's like,
No, 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 no. W-O-R-K. That is how you spell work.
and I'm like, well, depending on who you ask, people do spell work as W-E-R-K.
But don't you get?
Yeah.
It's funny. She's Scottish. She doesn't know how to pronounce English good.
Ugh.
The Germans would like a word with you.
Exactly.
The entire German language. Miss Anti-German, I guess.
Imagine if it was called craft work.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
Power work.
I was about to say, if you ask the guys from Kraftwerk, I guess you could spell it like that.
So Richard Grant is in this movie playing a head teacher of a private school that's trying to basically get Ashton Primary shut down. And since he's played by Richard Grant, I believe that there's a multiverse of other head teachers where he's played by Tom Hiddleston and a crocodile and all the other Loki variants. Change my mind.
For fuck's sake, he played a non-canon variant of the Doctor. What the fuck is he doing in this?
I thought that was Tom Hiddleston for a brief moment, I'm not gonna lie. I thought, did he really stoop that low before Thor?
It's what Loki had to do before he was going to attack New York.
I gotta say, the movie really didn't give him much good material to work with. Like, you can tell he's just straight up slogging through this.
Being in this
Really
movie
does.
really does sound like something MCU Loki would do.
No kidding.
I still believe that Loki was Hank Williams Sr. just because of that one movie.
This might be an unpopular opinion, but I also kind of think the character of Vic Van Winkle was miscast.
Yeah.
I feel like a better actor they could have gone with, and I'm sure you all will agree with me, Rick Mail.
Yes. Oh my
Yes.
god, I was literally thinking that.
If you've ever followed, his comedy, iffy at times, but like, he's all about fucking gross out comedy. He would have been perfect for this movie, especially considering how great at exaggerations he is. But like, we instead get Richard E. Grant, who plays the villain, just straight in this movie, filled with insane caricatures, and it just doesn't work.
Good God. And the one thing I will say about Henry, why are you keeping your hamster in that cage? That is not a good cage for a hamster.
But he's a good boy.
He's a
He is a good boy. Get that hamster a better fucking cage, please.
Also, you can tell that hamster did not want to be in the movie because he's literally trying to escape every single minute in this horrible CGI. It's like, oh.
Yeah, so what is up with this damn hamster, too, by the way? He's supposed to be a superhuman hamster, whatever, I don't know.
Oh my god, he's Harvey trying to escape from that one guy in the episode.
He's Harvey the Wonder Hamster's boyfriend.
Yes! Oh my
Aw.
god. We gotta protect him from the chef in that one episode of the Weird Al show.
And don't forget
Anyway.
Macho Man Randy Savage.
I am Macho Man Randy Savage. Thank you very much.
Yay! Hey, Randy, do you have a Slim Jim on you by any chance?
Never do a Slim Jim!
We forgot to mention the scene where the rest of the gang breaks into detention so they can all rehearse for the talent show going on.
Also, their band is called the Zero Zombies, which I guess is supposed to be a reference to White Zombie or Rob Zombie. I don't know.
I will say that when they're getting set up and one of the kids just straight up pulls out a fucking iPod Shuffle, God, that fucking brought me back.
There's a Nokia cell phone in this movie. There's an iPod Shuffle. This couldn't be more 2011 if they fucking threw in a reference to The Annoying Orange or Friday.
Toss in a Kesha song. Why not?
Giga, you need to tell about the soundtrack thing.
Yeah, I was just
Okay.
going to bring that up.
This movie has a very interesting thing with the soundtrack because, the film itself has like just songs performed by the characters. The
Yeah.
soundtrack album has several hit songs.
What?
Dynamite by Teo Cruz being one of them, yes.
My
Yeah.
God, it's
There's also a fucking cover of All the Small Things done by Jedward.
What?
I don't know why. I guess this movie thought it was 2001. I don't fucking know.
Also, the most 2011 thing of all time, it has fucking Party Rock Anthem on there. Yes.
No, fun family-friendly song.
None of these songs play in the movie, by the way.
Nope. Interesting Wikipedia vandalism trivia. At one point,
boy.
someone claimed that Guillotine by Death Grips was on this soundtrack.
this movie needed Death Grips. Let's be real.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
goes indeed.
Okay, a weird fact I just learned about this movie. Apparently, the voice actress for Henry from the series is actually in this movie as Nitty Nora, a knit nurse, and she reprises the voice of Henry during the song When I'm King.
Oh, weird.
Oh, that's another thing, too. Did you guys notice that Henry says the thing in the song, there's no escape and no TV? There's no escape from no escape.
From the fucking phrase itself. That's it. You know what? That's it. I'm going hermit. I'm living off the grid. I'm living in the forest.
It's literally the equivalent of a snake eating its own tail. Also, when Henry does the jump in midair, and they do the joke where he's stuck up there until the teacher tells him to get down, it brings me into an interesting thing that I've noticed. So, is Henry supposed to be a reality warping trickster god or something?
That's why we said he's Loki.
He transforms into a dinosaur at one point.
Yeah,
he
the
turns
shitty fucking CGI dinosaur that scares his brother.
Cell-shaded CGI dinosaur.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's a dinosaur run before he stands there and does nothing, like an idle video game character.
He's going Hulk by way of Rex from Toy Story, and I was just imagining him saying, I'm going for fearsome, but I'm just coming across as annoying. It's like, motherfucker. What was the point of that scene?
Also, he's fucking able to hide behind fucking telephone poles now. Because why the fuck not?
This is more cartoony than the actual cartoon.
Yeah, it just makes the movie even more fucking disorienting, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think when me and Giga was watching it, that we thought that, like, this seems like this movie version was made by a committee based on what old people thinks kids like. And kids need, constant stimuli, and they need constant farts and wacky things happening because children are stupid and they have no attention span. And it's just like, but this is not what the source material is like at all.
It's
Like, why are
not.
we doing this?
Like, the original at least can have quiet moments, and it isn't just dangling the keys in front of the kids for like a half hour. That's what this fucking movie is doing.
It really is.
Is this really how non-nostalgic people viewed the 2000s?
Yes, it is.
And it gets worse with the fucking gross out humor.
I just wanted to mention I'm autistic, and this movie was sensory hell for me.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
We
Yeah.
all are.
Oh man, I know I'm jumping ahead, but Giga, when you told me about the cake scene,
Ah!
when you hinted to it,
Disgusting.
and I got to it, I was like, Yeah, this is what she was talking about. What the fuck?
There was a scene where I was eating during it, and it was a 0 out of 10 experience. Do not recommend.
I didn't need to see that, and I didn't need to see a close-up of Henry's booger.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, that was wonderful, wasn't it? I love it when movies put me through sensory hell.
Literally, there's a fucking running gag where one of Henry's cousins is a baby that straight up fucking vomits. And the baby, when his family's over for cake and tea, the baby fucking vomits on a slice of cake. And the dad comes home right after this happens. And he's like, oh, sweet cake. And you can guess what happens here.
Oh my god.
What disturbs me the most about that scene is that he did not notice the vomit, which makes him wonder, what the fuck does that cake taste like?
Dying!
That's another thing, too. Helen Lederer's in that scene, too, is the rich aunt. So why is this movie getting all the good British comedy icons for this? All of you are too good for this shit.
Good
And
god.
they don't do anything.
So, Moody Margaret does just as much bad shit as Henry, but he keeps getting punished for it, and also, I gotta say, she looked like if somebody shrunk Frankie Foster from Foster's Home.
Moody Margaret? It's like Hermione Granger, she was even more of a bitch.
I would argue that Moody Margaret is even worse than Horrid Henry, quite frankly, because she's the one who fucking kickstarts this plot off by starting the prank war and then eventually fucking dumping slime on the teacher.
There's another aspect that I want to touch on. There's this whole class thing that seems to be unaddressed by the film, where Moody Margaret's dad in the source material is like super rich and gets her everything.
So that's why she was giving me Veruca Salt vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just constantly fucks with Henry's life, and she knows the school is fucking falling to pieces and struggling to stay alive, and she still does this shit. So what the fuck?
She doesn't bother trying to defend Henry when the slime falls on Mrs. Battleaxe, and she directly blames him because, of course, she's gonna blame him. Of course, plot convenience. All Moody Margaret does is, yeah, she helps him at the end, but, like, she straight up antagonizes him. And there's also that scene where she treats her dad like shit.
Yeah, the Veruca Salt scene.
I said we would be late, and now we are late. We're always late, and it's always your fault.
But sweetness, we're only late
Don't
because...
you sweetness me. Just give me my stuff.
Oh, sorry, my precious.
It literally is if you combine Veruca Salt and Hermione Granger.
And you know what? I gotta say, I actually felt bad for Miss Battleaxe when she got sacked. She didn't fucking deserve that.
God, she was just trying to do her damn job, and these fucking people are like, oh, you got slime. That's good enough reason for us to fire you.
Again, Moody Margaret faces no repercussions for her actions. Meanwhile, Horrid Henry keeps getting thrown under the bus.
Just expel these damn wiener kids already. My god, how much faculty have you lost to these kids? Just expel them. That is a thing you can do, you know, right?
I do want to bring up the scene with Miss Lovely where she gets slimed as well. That was uncomfortable. Especially with the way they fucking framed the shot.
Did you notice the masks in the background, by the way?
I didn't know.
No.
Let's just say that it didn't look like the kids made those. It kind of looked like a racist stagehand did.
Racist grandpa.
Oh, I didn't see those. What the fuck?
Lots of red lipstick going on.
God damn it, England.
This school is ridiculously white. That checks. Like,
I will say, though, Miss Lovely's serving.
yes. She's cute.
100%.
So because Henry's not good enough to get into the school his brother's able to get into, perfect Peter, by the way, he ends up having to go to a girls' school. Ha ha. It's so funny.
That's the part of the movie we repressed the
Oh,
most.
shit.
Do TERFs think that this movie is a documentary?
Of course.
I blame this film for everything wrong with Britain today.
Did Graham Linham write this shit? What the fuck?
Or J.K. Rowling.
Graham Linham featuring J.K. Rowling present fucking Horrid Henry, I guess.
If this movie followed its name system, but it made it way more racist, you'd have the J.K. Rowling School of Names. Yay.
So yeah, it turns out that for some reason, because I guess his rich family member's a moron, she says, I'll get him into the all-girls school because she thinks he's a girl.
She's old and nearsighted, get it?
It's definitely borderlining on transphobia here, I gotta say.
What do you mean borderline?
It's not borderlining, it just is.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I will say, at least they didn't make him do drag to make him fit in the school.
At least it was pretty short, I'll say that much, but it was...
What I found interesting in that scene is that if this was a different, better movie, they could have played this off to be an actual commentary on, like, gender presentation and gender stereotypes.
Exactly.
And, like, it could even be, like, pro-trans even. But, of course, it's this movie, and also while he's being sent off, they show a close-up that is great and has... Ew, facial hair. Women shouldn't have facial hair. And she's trying to kiss his cheek. Ew. It's like, oh, god damn, fuck you, Britain.
One thing I want to point out, too, is the scene where Horrid Henry and Moody Margaret are trying to sneak past all the girls. And what sets the girls off is he lets a very loud fart out.
Quickly run!
Because as we all know, women don't fart. Ever.
I can confirm. I have never farted in my life.
Here's the thing. I look at my phone for 1 second while this movie is playing, and suddenly it's a fucking horror game with all these, like, zombified private school girls just staring at one singular thing. When did we start playing fucking Amnesia?
Also, Perfect Peter's audition was just... Jesus Christ, that was bad.
Why the fuck did they have to drag that out for several different genres? What was the point?
I want to touch on that because earlier in the movie, it shows him playing cello. So clearly, for this audition for this fancy school, he could have brought his cello and played that. But no.
Instead, we have a hoedown.
Like, Frere Jacques, I'm sorry, that's not an impressive song to be having for an audition. It's like...
He was literally just doing it to impress Miss Lovely, who just so happened to be applying to the school.
Also, why the fuck did he float when he was seeing her?
Because cartoony, I don't know. This movie doesn't know what the fuck it wants to be.
Bad touch. This is a very bad touch scene. I'm just gonna say that.
This movie makes me feel very uncomfortable.
Help me, Winnie the Pooh!
Also, Professor Battleaxe goes full nutty professor and trying to get her job back, so she goes in disguise and they recognize her instantly. And I'm just like, well, it's their damn fault for wrongfully firing her to begin with.
I did like that joke of her going in with the obvious fake beard and shit.
That was good.
Simpsons did it, though.
Simpsons did it.
Also, I need to say, so there's this running bit where Horrid Henry keeps seeing, like, silhouettes of Mrs. Battleaxe. First he sees it in the all-girls boarding school, and then when he gets to the talent show at the venue outside, he sees another silhouette, but this time it's a full-body silhouette, and it looks like she's doing a fucking Nazi salute.
Okay, so I'm not the only one who noticed. What the fuck?
Yeah, what the hell was that?
What?
I knew it. I knew I was getting Hitler Youth vibes from that school.
Yikes.
What the fuck?
I knew it. The Hitler Youth vibes do not lie. I knew it.
Fun fact, the British royal family had ties to the Nazi party before the Blitz.
Of course they did.
Oh, I saw that scene in The Crown.
Whoops-a-doodle.
So Noel Felding is in this.
And he looks like Gerard Way, and sure, why not?
Oh god, it's boy Gerard Uri. the result of freakish gene splicing between Boy George, Gerard Way, and Brendan Urie, a la The Fly.
Also, after they free Henry from the school, one of the kids starts crying because he completely forgot the plot, I guess, because he's like, I thought we were going to save the talent show! It's like, what is this fucking movie?
It's me on the inside when watching this.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought this was the end of the movie. I really did.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it.
Just end it there. Just show them all going on a bus and then play Hello Darkness, My Old Friend.
There we go.
Listen, just have one kid go in a spaceship, but before he does, he touches the kid's chest and says, ouch, and then he leaves.
That's another thing, too. We haven't really talked about the characters of Miss Oddbody and Soggy Sid yet.
Was Soggy Sid the one in the jumpsuit? Because
yeah, that was him.
Evil gym teacher.
He's Jigsaw, guys. He's on the bike. Kids know what Jigsaw is.
We need to save that for... That's the climax of the movie, and it's something.
Do not tempt me to try and get us to do an episode on a Saw movie.
Oh my god.
So there's a framing device in this movie that revolves around the show To School for Cool, where they say nobody's ever won this game, and it's like, so then why do they keep airing it? Because then
They hammer it in that nobody has won this game ever.
Well, then they'd
Also-
get no fucking ratings. Jesus Christ, that's not how you run a game show.
it looked like if Horrorland and Goosebumps was hosted by Slappy the Dummy, because that's what Dick and Dom looked like.
Imagine if nobody ever fucking won Jeopardy. Imagine if during every episode of Jeopardy, all 3 contestants got every question wrong. Would that be any fun?
No!
Exactly!
I need to say this. I know that Dick and Dom are, British children's TV presenters, so I know next to nothing about them. They aren't typically this obnoxious, are they?
I'm sure that this movie just wasted everybody in this movie's talent. Let's be real.
It just seems like they're trying way too fucking hard here.
They're trying so hard to go from being wacky to being directly frightening, in my opinion.
So we forgot to mention, too, that the name of Noel Felding's character is Ed Banger.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
I wonder if they had to censor this movie in the US, which is a shame because that name actually does slap.
Why do I feel like the name Ed Banger has been used before in a very specific genre of home video with a very specific type of mustache
Oh man, okay.
and a very specific genre of music?
So they rip off School of Rock and sneak into the talent show, and somehow they don't think they'll get caught performing on stage.
Yeah, they're all in drag, by the way, because
They're wearing the dresses and the hats, which it's still pretty bad, I will admit.
Yep. And I gotta say, it sounds like this poor kid is straining his voice for these songs, because I'm sure he's a nice guy, I'm not trying to rip on him. These songs sound like ass.
All the rip-offs.
And no singing! Oh, go and get a glass of water.
So eventually, Miss Oddbody, the school secretary, finds out that Horrid Henry played the show against her wishes, and she goes into this rant about how, since he played this show, that's only going to make it easier for them to lose the school. How?
Like, this makes no sense. Not that this makes any sense.
He didn't even do anything bad during that scene, outside of, I guess, release snakes. They never go anywhere with that.
No, that wasn't it. He claimed that to have snakes, so that he could guide the guitars.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and there's that kid too, Vicious Vicky, I think her name is.
Yeah, oh god. Oh no, I'll repress that.
Where her sole character trait is biting people. She's only in this scene just so she can get Soggy Sit away by biting him incessantly. On the ass, by the way. This is very uncomfortable.
So what you're saying is she's me.
Who is this movie for?
Movie is for people who should be in prison.
Yeah.
Correct.
All I knew about her was that she looked like she had rabies, and I was like, that's literally me. Oh my god.
So somehow they still win the contest, and so then why the fuck would this ruin their chances of staying open? I don't get it.
Because
so stupid.
Because I don't know what the motivation for stretching out this movie is.
Horrid Henry misbehaved so badly, allegedly, that just associating with him is this movie's logic makes no sense.
It had nothing to do with the organizers.
Jesus, not to reference Hitler again, but they're acting like this kid is Hitler.
They really
Agreed.
are. To be fair, he does keep singing about how he wants to grow to be a dictator. I think that's the parents' fault.
Yeah, boy.
Okay, so maybe he's a little bit Hitler.
Little Hitler, to Blitzkrieg!
So
They
Henry,
can stop it, he's young still.
The fucking If I Could Be King, mini segments that don't fucking go anywhere.
Nope. So Henry is later invited to be a contestant on a game show, Too Cool for School, as we mentioned. They're telling him to use the prize money to help save Ashton Primary. It's like, don't save this school. They treat you like shit. Just
And again, we get the scenes with Dick and Dom, and It's either they look like decaying corpses or they're trying too hard to be Robbie Rotten.
Yeah, that's exactly what they look like.
Like, good fucking lord.
So at what point was this movie supposed to become Tim Burton's Dumbo / Moulin Rouge / the music video for I Write Sins Not Tragedies by Panic at the Disco?
Boy, I've always wanted to play Legend of the Hidden Temple or Double Dare if the challenges were just extremely fucking gross.
Also, why the fuck did Dick or Dom literally shit out Henry's homework?
God, that No.
I think my brain reached a breaking point at this part in the movie where I just completely dissociated while watching this, and I was like, oh, okay, this is happening now. Oh, okay, this is happening. Oh, okay.
That's the correct way to watch this movie.
So the gist of Too Cool for School is that it's supposed to be basically mirroring the opening events of the movie, and for example, they have a segment where Henry has to go look in the couch for his homework, and he gets his homework by Dick or Dom literally making a bunch of faces, and you hear a bunch of fart noises followed by a squish. And then the other Dick or Dom pulls the homework out from behind Dick or Dom one. I don't know. Jeez. What is this movie, man? It's just...
One of the challenges involves, like, acid underneath a plank, so I'm like, yeah, no wonder nobody's finished this challenge.
Yeah,
they
probably...
So everyone died. This is a snuff operation. It should be shut down.
Too Cool for School has a fucking body count.
Yes. Before they go to the Saw room, they go to Purgatory, where the whole thing is that he needs to eat the most disgusting food possible.
Yeah, he gets to Purgatory / the Void by climbing into the couch looking for his homework, so there's literally no payoff to that segment. Why is anything in this movie?
Hey kids, it's big comfy couch without any of the fun.
And even the set looks like the fucking Foley family segments.
Also, they go Deuce X magnetic yo-yo up with the magnetic yo-yo, and when he gets out of the scene, sure, why not?
Yeah. But before then, there's also the Deuce X hamster.
Oh yes, that's right, because his hamster Fang escapes from his book bag and falls from the rafters into the soup. So he helps Henry by eating most of the soup while Henry mimes it. There's literally no way you can play this game without cheating.
Seriously.
Not only that, but there's no way they didn't get that on camera.
Yes!
Another scene I forgot to mention with the hamster is that at one point Henry calls him Spider Ham, and I'm just like, oh my god, this movie predicted Spider-Verse.
Also ripped off The Simpsons.
I have a feeling they really wanted to say Spider-Man, but there was some sort of copyright bullshit preventing them from doing that, so they had no choice but to say Spider-Ham.
They didn't want everybody to be sad there wasn't going to be a fourth Raimi film in 2011.
You know, Marvel still could have sued them because Spider-Ham is a Marvel character, so I don't know why they passed down on that one.
When Perfect Peter and the other kids are riding up to the villain's house, I already forget his name, by the way. When they're already riding up to the school to help Miss Lovely escape, they're wearing these fucking bunny outfits, and I'm thinking to myself, oh yeah, this movie has jumbled our brains so much, we forgot to mention that Miss Lovely gets kidnapped by Richard E. Grant.
Yeah,
so can we just talk about how nonsense this evil plan is?
What is this evil plan?
Okay, so his evil plan is to pay off school inspectors to close down all the other schools in the area so that only his school is open, which is a private school that people need to pay money for.
Which I guess is a realistic villain goal, I guess, because the real world is shitting on public education.
Yeah, so you'd think this would make sense, but somehow they make this very easy villain thing not make any damn sense in that everyone can randomly just afford this, apparently.
Yeah, there's no commentary about class or anything, or people not being able to afford it. It's like, they had an opportunity because, they mentioned that Henry's parents can't afford the school, but then, his rich aunt is like, oh, no, I'll pay for it, and so everyone's able to go to the school.
Yeah, it's no consequences. So.
Yeah, what's even the point of the auditions, then, if their rich aunt can just pay for Peter and Henry to go to it?
Yeah.
Something, Aunt Becky.
They also rip off Monsters, Inc. with doing the whole villain accidentally reveals his plan over the phone to the people.
Of course, it was my brilliant idea to set up Brick House School and then to close down all the other schools around here so that everyone would have to pay me lots and lots of money to come here.
I'll kidnap 1,000 children before I let this company die, and I'll silence anyone who gets in my way!
We need to talk about the saw scene in greater detail.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
There's the saw scene. There's the saw scene.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure standards and practices would have shut this shit down before the first episode.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, Giga, do you want to explain how fucked up this is?
Okay, so the entire thing is Henry has to be on this plank and reach for a lever on the other side of the room that, he can't reach just by hand. So he has to use a yo-yo, which, they don't account for in the show itself. And underneath is just this rancid-looking CGI slime that looks like it's boiling, and if you fall in it, you'll die immediately.
Yeah, what the fuck?
What the fuck kind of Kids' Choice Awards is this?
It's the same one that knocked Katy Perry out.
To top it off, though, the evil gym teacher is on a fucking bike, and he's pedaling to make the board incline, so it's like going into the wall.
He literally wants this kid to die.
Yeah, and he's laughing maniacally while doing this shit.
This is attempted child murder.
Bubble has killed our baby.
I knew it would come to this one day. Yeah.
Child murderer.
He's literally Jigsaw. Oh my god. So the way that they finally pay off the fucking challenge is just, they have Henry remember all the times that fucking Mrs. Battleaxe calls him a horrid boy, and it's just, how the fuck does that connect to how he spells homework?
No, you see, she says, "Oh, you horrid boy," and the whole thing is she's saying, "Oh."
Oh,
the letter
it's like
O
mnemonics.
instead of E.
So yeah, but the final test is that he had to spell homework. That's the final test. Miss Battleaxe turned out to be like in charge of the show. She's the only other person who ever won this. Therefore, she's in charge now. So apparently, this is Squid Game.
Yes. It's Squid Game, it's total drama, it's insert reality show here where you die.
It's like fucking Survivor, but like if the title were taken a lot more literally. This is like Fear Factor, but like shit your fucking pants fear.
Also, Mrs. Oddbody basically rejects the money despite apparently needing it because now that they got the villain played by Richard Grant arrested, I don't know. It's so, they forced Henry to go through all that for nothing. Jesus Christ.
Fuck.
Also, another sign this movie's great, it ends on a fucking dance party. Oh,
I hate dance party endings. I'm sick of it.
Well, at least it wasn't insane in the membrane.
At least it wasn't that. I'll say this much, this movie wasn't nearly as bad as Furry Vengeance and CJ7. That's not saying much.
Yeah.
Low bar.
Very low bar, yes.
And Reanimated.
Who wants a new Wii? Huh?
Oh, more dance party endings. I'm fucking on my knees begging the film industry. Stop with the dance party endings. I'm sick of it.
Alright, so for burn, just burn the fucking movie.
I'm going to spell it out. I'm going to give it a B, give it a U, give it an R, give it an N, and when I'm king, it's gonna get in the tapes. I don't fucking know. I don't know if I can say it's as bad as Reanimated or Ghost or CJ7, but it's still pretty fucking bad. It
is. It really is.
It gives grow-up Timmy Turner vibes, and sometimes being too cartoony and over the top isn't a good thing.
At least this doesn't have Drake Bell.
Thank the Lord.
10 out of 10. Best movie ever. Keep the tapes.
I know. We're going on the bare minimum here. Keep the tapes. It doesn't have Drake Bell in it or Kevin Spacey.
There's no pedophiles in this movie as far as we know.
As far as we know. Well, just you wait. Just you wait. We'll find out some shit about this.
I gotta admit, I picked a hell of a time to start disassociating.
Oh yeah, no, speaking of which, BERN, burn the tapes, because I had to dissociate during this while sober. That's not supposed to happen when I'm watching a movie.
No.
Fuck.
I'm gonna say that we're gonna keep it for ourselves. But if any children get hold of this, we're gonna burn it for them and then replace it with a good movie for them instead.
Perfect. Yeah, you guys can just drop it into the acid in that one challenge.
Yeah.
Give it a Super Mario Brothers movie. At least that one is enjoyable bad.
Oh, that's good. That's
I
genuinely
can't
good
believe
movie.
people hate that movie.
It's so good.
All right. So, yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. And so sorry that you had to sit through this again.
Yeah. Is there anything y'all want to plug?
By the time the episode is out, we'll have an album out.
Woo!
Huzzah!
You can check it out on Bandcamp and most streaming platforms. The album is called Welcome to Cuddle Country Partner, and if you like harsh noise, noise metal, noise jazz, anything with noise, you might like this album.
Oh, yes.
Also, we have merch with very nice t-shirts if anyone wants to have some nice t-shirts.
And very adorable personas, by the way.
Yes!
Thank you.
Aww. Alright, so as for me, you can find me on the usual spots. Tyler FG on Twitter, Tyler FG96 on Instagram. As for the show, you can find us on channel_KRT on Twitter, Channel KRT Podcast, all one word, on Instagram. We also have our Discord server and our Facebook group, which you can find in the link tree in our bio. And if you want to help support us, you can also check out our Patreon, where we have exclusive minisodes, outtakes, and episodes of this very podcast at its earliest
So you can find me on the usual Mission Breakout, Twitter, Discord. You can find me on Instagram under A Walking Pun. You can eventually find me at my to-be-named YouTube channel, hopefully coming soon. And you can find me just sliming the hell out of this movie.
Huzzah! And of course, thank you so much to our pals Gomer and Chris Rayner for pledging to us the $10 level. And an extra special thank you to our new executive producer, Mike. Alright, Channel KRT, cut to static.
Help us!
Hail Satan!